Hello, everyone, and welcome to Developing Palates. Aaron Loomis with me as always. Jiunn. How you doing, Jiunn?
Good.
First time we're doing video on the same one. We are at IPCPR 2016 in Las Vegas. We're doing a recap from day one. So show officially started today with the trade show floor opening up. So we got in, ran to the back, and kind of started going through various booths. So we want to do this recap and kind of just talk a little bit about some of the boosts we hit, maybe some of the things that kind of jumped out at us that interested us. No way this is going to be a full rundown, just kind of some highlights. We only hit a real subset of stuff today, so we'll be doing videos for the rest of the week as well for what we get to hit up on those days. So I guess we'll kind of just jump into it. Anything you want to start off with that we were into?
How do you feel, first of all, after this day one of the show?
I feel disappointed in how few boosts we got to and how fast stuff went. I mean, I think we just got in there, and as soon as we kind of looked at the clock, it was lunchtime, and we needed to grab lunch before they shut down, and then we had to get back into there, and we had a couple of appointments, and it just was like a quick whirlwind.
Yeah, because I think I did a quick math, and I think we hit about 20 booths, give or less 2-3 booths.
Right.
So given how much is out there this year, and it's crazy. Like, I mean, all these things that you guys have been reading on our website, our press release, Half Wheel Coop, etc. I mean, you read it. It's one thing that you read it, but it's a whole other thing to actually go to the booth and see just the massiveness and the craziness. So overall, I feel a little dehydrated. I drink a shit ton of water. Aaron pretty much drank probably like 12 ounces of water so far.
Yeah.
But I hit up I drank like 60 ounces of water, and it's still, it's Vegas heat and all that. But it was good that I felt that the attendance was good. I felt like that the attendance was better than last year in New Orleans. I thought that it was also a good feeling when vast majority of the booths that we went to, there was typically a retailer for the manufacturer salesperson to talk to. So, all good news. I mean, after all, it is a trade show. We're covering the media side of it, but it's always good to see sales being made. Let's get into originally what you were saying of some of our highlights.
All right, so I think the first booth we stopped at was White Hat for HR. So they have the new HR White, HR Blue. So those will be interesting now that he's kind of out on his own, got their own company now, completely broken from Cubanacan.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those will start popping up, and then those will be interesting to follow to see how they'll follow up with the original HR.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool that the original HR 1845 is in continuous production.
Right. Same factory.
And I haven't smoked that cigar yet, but from the folks that have smoked it, it is definitely a premium, higher price dollar cigar. But everyone has said that it was good. So for the folks that continuously want to get them, you can through this new White Hat distribution and getting through the legality of the whole Cubanacan stuff. So,
right.
So I hear you on the white label and blue label. So my understanding of the white label is Ecuadorian Habano, and the blue label is Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro / Maduro. Basically, still the same concept of the 1845, but with kind of more body, more strength, but still kind of hitting all those complexities and nuances that people associate Hiroshi Robina with.
Right. So Crux was another one we hit up. They have a bunch of new cigars this year, actually, but I mean, some of the stuff was released earlier in the year. So the stuff that's really new for the trade show is the Limitada IPCPR 2016, which really it's a limited release, especially for the show. So people that are coming to the show or have already placed kind of a pre-order for it are going to get that, and then also the Epicure. So that kind of those things follow up the sports and the guild earlier in the year. So I think it's going to be another big year for those guys. They seem to be kind of keeping that momentum from the the first year that they were out, and then every year they kind of just build up on the same type of momentum.
To kind of add along with what you said, I really I dig what Crux is doing with their portfolio, right? Like it seems like they hit all spectrums of body and strength, right? Especially with Connecticut coming out. And then we reviewed the Guild and the Sport Largo that you guys can check out on our website. And then with this limitada IPCPR, giving an incentive for the retailers to get in there, and us to get in there to check out that cigar. So I think for being such a small company, there's steady growth, the right kind of growth, strategic growth, it seems like all the pluses.
Right. HVC is another one. San Isidro, La Rosa 520 for this year. Pan Caliente. Rainier's like really kind of flown under the radar, I think, for the last couple of years. I mean, he puts out really good stuff, but he just doesn't get a lot of publicity for it. So I'm hoping that this year is kind of the year that kind of puts him over the top with getting a little bit more, I don't know, more publicity, more fanfare for the kind of blends he puts out. But super nice guy. Always puts out good blends. I mean, I know you're a fan of his stuff too.
Yeah, man. I mean, I still remember the first HVC you gave me was like 2 years ago or so. And I smoked that and I was thinking, man, this has great flavor, complexity, balance, but it's good Nika tobacco. You know, fast forward now, I realize that, you know, he uses a lot of the Aganorsa stuff, and I love that stuff. I think Aganorsa has some of the best tobacco out there. So, I mean, I'm glad. Like, I remember when we went to Rainier's booth, he was busy with customers. And I loved seeing that, especially with someone like him that's been so hardworking and humble. And, I mean, this guy gets really good tobacco. So, I mean, as most of you guys know, when these manufacturers go to these tobacco farms and look at black tobacco, not everyone's going to get the same stuff, right? But he has the connections, and then he has that X factor, I guess, to get the good stuff, and he certainly does a good job of it.
Another company called Entrada. They're doing some cigars out of Aganorsa tobacco, at least. And the new one they have for this year is the Libertas. So I know that we're both big fans of Aganorsa tobacco, so another one we're looking forward to. So
and this is a guy, these guys I haven't even heard of personally. And this is part of the cool stuff of going to the show for me is, I mean, you see these gigantic big booths, you know, the Ashes, Rockies, etc. And there's nothing wrong with, of course, going through those booths and checking out what's new, especially within this year with the, you know, FDA stuff going on. But meeting guys like Entrada, you know, you kind of start the journey with them as a company and as a consumer. So I'm excited to smoke that Aganorsa Corojo.
So we're going to definitely do a review on it. So that'll be coming up on the site, you know, following up the IPCPR. Total Flame. They have a couple new cigars. I think the main one that I think intrigues me, at least, is the M72. And that's because they're including some Russian tobacco in that. So I guess there's like really small farm kind of set up in Russia that they got some tobacco from, and I mean the brand is out of Russia, so I think that's the reason they're using it. So it's not like they're just kind of trying to pull some random tobacco out of somewhere. Like there's a reason why they're getting it from there. But the kind of the process that we heard was that they had to ship this tobacco from Russia to the United States, and then from the United States down to Nicaragua to actually get it there so they can do the blending. So it's kind of an interesting path. That's kind of reverse of how tobacco would travel. It usually would go Nika, then if it can't go straight to Russia, I guess it would go to the States and then to Russia. But,
it's, I mean, smoking will tell us if it's gimmick or worth the effort and all that stuff. So
so it's kind of like you know, an interesting booth to stop at in regards to that. Another one's Caldwell. There's a ton of new stuff coming out of Caldwell. Savages, Anastasia, One and Only from La Barba,
Midnight Express,
and then the one that we didn't really, it wasn't in the booth, but the big thing is the All Out Kings.
Oh yeah,
but it wasn't in the booth, and it's supposed to be distributed by Caldwell, so I don't know that it's going to be. It shouldn't be in the Drew State booth, but we'll find out when we go there. But there was no presentation of it. So I think it's right now it's still vapor.
Right. And, for so much hype around All Out Kings, I really wish that we got to get a sample of it.
Right.
And even when we were asking, talking to a representative at Caldwell, he hasn't smoked it. And to his knowledge and to everybody else's knowledge, the only people that smoked it is Willie and Robert.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I mean, certainly when that comes out, it's hyped. And I believe it's already, I believe it's already sold out or like really.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So but I mean, it's going to be a hot seller. Robert's first time using Nika tobacco, and most people know. Well, some people know that he's not a big fan of Nika tobacco, so he likes his DR stuff. So.
Yeah. We also hit up Nat Sherman. So we had to spend a little bit of time with Michael Herklotz, which was fantastic. He gave us a tour of the whole setup. Kind of went through the whole history of the company and things like that. I think the big thing for them this year is the Metropolitan Habano. That's kind of a new line in the Metropolitan line. They have two other lines that are pre-existing, but they're just updating the packaging to kind of go along with what they've got new for the Habano, so that they all kind of line up. The other thing is the Panamericana, which is a TAA exclusive. So you have to go through a TAA retailer to be able to get that. Those are, I think, two of the big ones for them.
Yeah, I would say also with Nat Sherman. So this is our first year going into Nat Sherman's booth.
Right.
But I felt pretty well received.
Yeah, absolutely.
And aside from the cigars that you mentioned, the 75th and the 85th anniversary Nat Shermans.
Yeah.
They look what Nat Sherman kind of goes for is that timeless classic look.
Yeah.
And I totally dig that, and it just ages gracefully.
Right.
So
yeah.
And
then you went to a Davidoff kind of media event. So kind of talk about what you did there.
Sure. So while I was there, we were double booked. So we got invited to a Davidoff media cocktail party. And then Aaron was at the Asian group one for media. It was great. I mean, I appreciate that Davidoff in general has kept a closer eye on media, and media, large and small alike. Smaller guys like us that they're willing to invite us to.
Right.
Thank you again, Seth, if you're watching this, for hooking us up with that. So it was a little roped off area. They had champagne and appetizers, and the president, the CEO of North America Davidoff spoke, Christian, and then the president of ST DuPont spoke. So recently, Davidoff and ST DuPont has signed a partnership agreement to work together, which makes total sense. They're both the more luxurious, classic kind of brands, and they just pair well together. So, and then there's this other gentleman that spoke, it's escaping my mind, but they all spoke. They kind of talked about how well Avo's doing, how well Davidoff is doing, and then just kind of the partnership between them and ST DuPont. And they left some time at the end. They're all hanging around for media guys to go talk to.
Right.
We talked to Christian, the North America CEO, I believe, and he was really nice. We talked a little bit about FDA and just that looming overshadow of what's going to go on with that and the uncertainties of it. We also talked about how their growth and their success through acquisitions and coming out with new lines to, in my opinion, really get that younger generation of smokers to see Davidoff in a different light.
Yeah, I think bringing in Camacho and then the Davidoff Nicaragua and the Escurio and now the Yamasa, I think those are kind of some of the main players in, I guess, broadening the awareness with kind of the newer smokers.
And then, they gave us a nice little pack of, typical Davidoff style of making everything look awesome.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we'll get some good cigars for you to review on that as well. Things like the Yamasa and even the Avo, the Fagatas. We got some different Fatolas of that.
Right.
But it was great. Being in the media, I realized it's not easy. It's a trade show to sell, like any typical trade show is. But to have a big guy like Davidoff to take their time and to get some of the upper management to come out and speak to us and to show their appreciation for it, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
So
Jiunn was at Davidoff. I was at Aging Room. Rafael Nadal is very good about social media. This is the second year in a row that he's kind of set up a special time for the social media entities to come out and have a dedicated session to them, so you can talk about kind of his new releases and things like that. So he talked about Solera. So that's a new blend that he's coming out with. Well, actually, there's 4 different blends there. But one of the things he's talking about in regards to that is the way that he's kind of blending the tobacco for that. And he kind of was talking about how a process is done with wine, where it takes old vintages and mixes it with newer vintages or variations of different vintages to kind of come out with a standard blend that you can maintain over time. So you have some good ones, some not so good ones. They kind of mix together and kind of put out an even product. So that's what he's done here. He was also, one of the things he talked about was FDA as part of this, and that the main one he was planning to come out with was the sun-grown version. That was the only one he was going to come out with. But then with the FDA announcement in May, he needed to kind of accelerate the releases for the other ones. So there's going to be a total of 4. So those will all be out. Also, he's got the new Palo de Oro line that's coming out. So it's all Palo de Oro tobacco. It's a little on the pricier side compared to the Solera. So it's $14 and above. While Solera's, I think it's all sub 9, but if not, it's all sub $10 for the Vitolas. And then also kind of bringing back some stuff under the Oliveros name. So 2 different blends, Gran Retoro, which is going to have a couple different wrappers, and then the Oliveros All Stars. So those are kind of the two main lines under the Oliveros kind of comeback. And then another one was kind of towards the end of the day was Sereno. So they kind of had a little bit of a social media push, I'd say a couple months back, getting some reviews and stuff like out there, but I think they're going to be doing kind of another level of push at that. So a new brand, a few different blends, really nice looking packaging, good artwork and things like that. We're talking with Carson today, and I think he's working with a good factory, someone that knows tobacco. They're working together to put out some good stuff, so we're looking forward to smoking those blends, doing some reviews on those as well. You have some more that you had on your list?
Yeah, a couple of things. Foundation,
right.
Nick Melillo's stuff. I mean, he did. So, like, from his return to broadleaf with the Tabernacle to using like kind of when we talk about Total Fame, the whole Russian tobacco thing, using Jamaican tobacco in his upsetters,
right? And
not only using Jamaican tobacco, but within each vitola of the upsetters is a different wrapper leaf, right? So it could go from Candela to everything up the spectrum. So I thought that was cool.
Right.
What else? We went to an accessory guys that we never been to called Bissell. So they make their own dominantly travel cases, specifically carbon fiber travel cases, and they're making ones to fit 6x60s now. And the guy that we talked to, Cronall, he stepped on one of them just to show how sturdy it is.
Yeah, he's basically stood on it. And just and it wasn't the whole thing put together. It was just half of it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's strong. Your cigars aren't going to get crushed in.
Yeah. So like it's legit carbon fiber, not some sticker that that people put on their roof of the cars or some shit. So, and also Nomad. Fred gave us martial law, which he said it was based off his lot 8613. And I remember smoking that 8613. It was just a flavorful cigar.
Right.
But apparently with this one, it's going to be a bolder version of it. So I'm looking forward to what that's like.
Yep.
Byron, the new Byron.
Yep.
The actual name I don't remember.
Yeah, I want to say it's Civil 21, but we'll have to get back on clarification.
Yeah, we'll get more clarification on that. So, well, typical with Byron and just the whole Adobe and all that stuff is it's the super other premiums, but of course, looking forward to smoking that as always.
Yep.
And lastly, finally meeting Risty. Is that how you say it?
Yep. Yeah.
From Jazz Some Crawl, JSK.
Yeah.
The first thing he said to me was, "Did you eat yet?"
Right.
Because on his Robusto that we reviewed, I basically said this cigar blew my head off, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Flavor and strength and striking maximum levels of both, and doing a good balance of both of those. And I actually asked him why so many. Since he's such a Cuban cigar collector and guy, why make such a strong cigar?
Mm-hmm.
And in my review, I even said I think this is kind of his way of going smoking some of those custom Cuban rolls,
right?
That you could get really strong.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, like that's why he did it.
Yeah.
But except that he did a better job of actually having a fuller flavor, tastier, for the lack of a better word, cigar than those custom Cubans. So. Yeah. All in all, I mean, do you have anything else?
No, I mean, as it is, it was a busy day. Like time flew by. We were hoping. I was hoping when I looked at the clock, it was only going to be like 11:30, but it was already 12:45, and it was like.
Yeah. So we got in at 10:30 today, and the shows ends at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
As media, we're supposed to get in at 9:30.
Yeah.
But there were some hiccups with that typically happens every year.
Yep.
But we made the most of it, and we still got a good 2.5 days left to go.
Yeah.
And we still got a lot of booths to hit up, but it'll be fun.
Yeah. So don't let anybody complain to you about the heat. It's not a problem. New Orleans is way worse, so nothing to complain about. People are gonna tell you that their feet hurt and their back hurts and they're tired. And this is too fun to be that way. So
yeah. No, it's fun. I mean, you hear some of those shows where it's so tiring, blah blah blah, but this is truly fun to do.
Fun work.
It's fun work, and it's maximal cigar geek stuff.
Yes.
That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, I mean, all the personalities, all the brands, and then when you're there, you get a chance to talk to them. Everybody's accessible, so it's not like they're like these. Celebrities that, you're like being held back by bodyguards or something like that. It's like everybody's friendly to talk to and everything like that.
No, we've been very well received, especially being such, well, not new in the cigar industry per se, but certainly new in our website.
Yeah.
So, I hope to continuously have that streak for the next few days.
Yeah. All right, it's gonna wrap that up for day one. We're gonna head out and smoke some cigars, have some drinks, have some food, kind of get ready for tomorrow. Another day of hitting the bricks and talking to people and all that good stuff. So we will catch you tomorrow. We'll do a day two, and hopefully bring you a lot more good content, get you kind of up to date on what's going on, any new stuff that hasn't already been announced, things like that. So thanks guys for watching. Hit us up on the website, developingpalates.com. YouTube, subscribe, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+. Like us, all the follows there. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys.